match. And this one is being co-cast by someone who doesn't necessarily need an introduction, but I'm going to give it to him anyways. It is one of the many men, many myths, many legends of the IGL. It's our good friend Coyote. What's up, Coyote?
What is going on, Andrew, Chris, and everybody out there? I hope we're all looking forward to a killer matchup tonight. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Glad you are here. This matchup is a matchup between the 5-0 Red Bulls, and from Big Top Gaming, it's Big Throw Gaming sitting at 3-1. And we're just going to jump into stats and everything to fill time.
Sounds good to me, man. I'm excited. I really, with Big Top Gaming used to be my organization I used to cast for. I'm excited to see them go up against the Red Bulls in their first season in Tier 1, which they have absolutely been crushing it, as you can see from the stat board right there.
Yeah, I give this squad total flack, whether deserved or not. But this season, they've shown up. We got the Red Bulls up here, and we show that actually Dilly inexplicably is leading the way, but has support from Squiddy, Indecisive Squirrel, and mid-season pickup Nerve. And Nerve is a good addition to the squad. I will say
Nerve
that.
is. He's actually a former Big Top Gaming player as well, so a little bit of friendly rivalry, of course, coming out from Big Top Gaming, from Big Throw Gaming squad. He used to play on, I believe it was Big Top Gaming Ultra with P Fox and Professor Fox, I think he was known as in the league, and who else was that on that team? But former Big Top Gaming player, so this is gonna be quite the matchup, man. I'm excited for that. Nerve, even with a mid-season pickup. He does have a pretty good average score game, and the goals and assists and saves and shots. He's definitely putting on pretty good offensive pressure. Just the shooting percentage is a little bit lower, but according to Dilly Bar up there at the top, leading the charge, definitely have the advantage in this matchup.
And then over on the other side for Big Throw Gaming, here's how they stack up. I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Though, you have the MVP of what I've called on my stream, the MVP of all Indie Gaming League games, and for now and forever, Mr. Sunix, down fourth one from the top on the list. Sunix is just an incredible Rocket League player. His stats do not lie, shooting at 42%, putting a lot of goals on target for the season. Goals per game average is definitely low, but the shots he take are lethal.
Okay, well, I think I'm getting pestered by fearless leaders, so we will do the very painful method of getting you in here.
Yes. Oh, goodness gracious. There we go. We are all good now.
Apologies to everyone. It's when you're not doing it officially, it's more of a ham-fisted way of getting everyone in.
It always is. It's always like it's like pulling a needle out of a haystack. It's just gonna take some time. And
to be honest, one of these days I should just say I'm just gonna make.
I'm just gonna make a lobby and send you the information. Just enjoy.
Yeah. It's like, here, BBC Captain, here's the information, and please relay it to the other one. And then that way it's like, someone tunes in and they don't see this like CF on the screen, with 5 people in a party. I know we've been approved and everything, but because sometimes you just when you start a little late, we just want to say, here's this, let's set the stage for everything.
Yeah. And I will say you do a great job of that on your streams. I like watching and I love casting with you. Of course, it's definitely been a while. I think it's since last season we actually got to cast together.
Yeah, playoffs. We didn't wait to playoffs this time, but
exactly. We jumped the gun a little bit, I think, and I think that's okay. Next season we're going to start in week number 4, and y'all are going to be like, "What is happening?" I have no idea.
It's going to be, who is this clown and why is he casting with Coyote?
It's just common. Andrew Chris is absolutely killer. Best Buds Club Network. If you guys aren't following or subbing, please drop them some love. Give them a follow. Give them a sub. definitely worth it. The benefits of being in a Best Buds Club network is you get to be a Best Bud yourself, and I think that's a pretty solid benefit right there. Real server or unfollow Sonic's he's requesting a new server. I think because it's a digitized server.
Is
The
it?
numbers, yeah, it's a numerical server.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with that.
Okay. I'll let him know that we can remake. We will, I guess, back out. Is that a remake? Okay, yes. We'll go ahead and remake this one, I guess.
Hopefully.
That's probably the...
Yeah. There. We'll lead the charge. I think that's fair.
Exactly.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I, for some reason, a lot of people, and there's a lot of things that happen, like with people not being able to get good connection on digitized servers without they want an actual named server, because it does provide as actual, instead of it being a virtual server created for that specific lobby, it's an actual Psyonix run server. And it does provide some players better connection. Some players don't have to deal with it at all. But it looks like right now we are on
another virtual server.
Another virtual server. I believe it's USE 762. This is actually a solid server, but it's just there's no second server. There's no second server number. I don't know. Can't tell.
Might be one of the older ones.
It's true. It could be.
Actually, fun fact. I didn't actually know just how the virtual servers were determined until it was either you or Coyote, or not Coyote. You are Coyote. Tankard mentioned it. Just past, kind of casually. I think it was in a match or something like that.
I believe so too. Yeah, and I think that was whenever I learned about it from, I think, Cryptide, a player on Big Throw Gaming who's not going to be playing tonight, but will be out there watching. I'm sure he's probably lurking out there in the crowd right now. But I believe he was the one who actually explained it to me.
All right, so we'll see. I mean, if they're looking for a named server, we might have to re-roll this.
Yeah, you know what? I guess we'll see what the next has to say as he joins in here. He's remaker goods, man. Sure has been a minute there. We accept the fourth. I think they're good to go as Swift gives us the go okay up in the chat.
All right, so our rosters for the Red Bulls: Dilly, Nerve, and Squiddy. For Big Throw, we got Shoots, Swift, and the Nex. And we are underway.
I've been looking forward to this matchup all week since I was talking to Swift about it, and he was talking about how Nerve, of course, former Big Top Gaming player, they will be facing off against right now on the 5-0 squad from the Red Bulls, as Nerve gets an incredible save there on Shoots' shot.
Yeah, we're kind of mentioning that Nerve was the mid-season, start of the season pickup for the Red Bulls. He's been putting in work, and then as we were going over stats, just because I have to give him trouble, inexplicably Dilly is leading the way, outshining the pickup.
I would hope so.
I don't know. I know Nerve is a good player, and all that. It's just it's really good to see that the rest of the Red Bulls are picking up the weight, but yeah, Shoots there with a nice individual effort there off that bad clear, really.
Was, yeah, and Swift being accredited from that pass from just getting in the way of it, but definitely good slot there, and that offensive pressure coming out from Big Throw Gaming early on in game number 1 definitely had the guys on BBC having to kind of conserve boost a lot. And you saw Dilly there on the end of that play. He was actually trying to go up the back wall. Probably could have had the save, but he ended up getting caught up on the goalpost, and it completely interrupted his play. It's pathing up to the ball, so that's going to be a early lead for Big Throw Gaming, as now it's off to Swift, down to Nex, not able to capitalize yet.
yes, Trashman, they do need to be fixed. I'll let the Coyote carry this for a little bit, and we'll fix our overlay.
It's totally fine. What an incredible shot, first of all, coming out from the guys over on the BBC network themselves. Red Bulls going and tying up the game with Dillybar, receiving that pass downfield, coming out from Squiddy. Squiddy, an elite player who's definitely no rookie to Indie Gaming League himself. Neither any player on this field is a rookie to Indie Gaming League. Each player in here has been a veteran multi-season, and of course, being Tier 1 players, we're out here to watch some Tier 1 gameplay. Nerve able to get a shot on target, but saved by Shoots. Squiddy rotating out as Billy puts that off the backboard. You got all three Big Throw Gaming players over in the back right-hand corner. Shoots does rotate in well, but Nerve with a double touch off the wall, touched out by Swift. Shoots, open real estate, but Nerve rotates back correctly and gets a good touch off to his own corner. And that's something that we saw a lot of from Nerve, especially when he played back on the opposite side, when he played on Big Top Gaming. I believe that was a Big Top Gaming Ultra Instinct was the team he played on. But defensively, he was a solid rock. I mean, you could not put a goal past the man if he had any boost in the tank at all. You would not put one past him unless you sat there and considerately just bombarded his net, where he could not get boost. He himself is just a great defensive player. But as far as Dillybar, of course, leading the squad for the Red Bulls, doing a fantastic job so far in game number 1, putting in the only goal to tie it up. 2 minutes left to go. It looks like our overlays are fixed, aren't they?
Yeah. People got to see again how the sausage is made.
Yes.
I go by the IGL site and just kind of hope. I have a 50-50 chance, but again, that's when you don't get to control the lobby, sometimes you're wrong. And you know what? That's okay.
That is okay.
Actually, what drives me crazy is when people switch sides mid-match.
That is why that always, my first Indie Gaming League game I casted, I didn't name the teams because I was such a rookie. I didn't even know what I was doing, honestly. I was like, oh, my friends said I could. My friends thought it was funny whenever I casted their games joking around, and I forgot to rename the teams. So my overlays were thrown off all over the place. And that was when I was like, okay, from now on, I'm assigning team names. I am doing overlays that have everybody's stats and all this nonsense just to make sure that wouldn't happen again.
Yeah, we'll eventually get there. With our overlay, so apologies if it's super basic right now.
Hey, basic is good. I think it can be a little overwhelming sometimes. You see a lot of casting lobbies and stuff. They put on these crazy intense overlays and all these graphic changes and so much going on. What a shot by Swift off the target though, but close one indeed. As far as overlays go, some people kind of overdo it, I'd say.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's like, we're not like, pros here, so we don't need don't need all the important information and where they're born and
exactly. Coming out of San Jose, California, Swift, 26-year-old mechanical engineer.
Although you could probably do some, really good East-West Bowl stuff.
Now you probably could. You probably could there. You are 100% right.
I'm just throwing out all the dated references here.
Close shot coming on by Dillybar. A little off target though.
Well, both teams look like they're trying to audition for clangers.
They sure are. Look at Swift. Swift's one of those players who, when he gets possession, he's dangerous because Swift is such an analytical player. As far as his possession game goes, it's always elite. And you can see Squiddy there. I'm not sure if that was I'm sure it was calculated 100% because we are casting in live. But the feels backflip, man, but definitely did not help him there as he went up for that shot opportunity. But Swift maintaining a very solid base, foundation on the ground. Sonics getting the save on Squiddy's shot. Close one coming in from Squiddy.
Yeah, I like to think everything in Tier 1 is planned, so there's always a reason for it.
Exactly. It's like, is it like the double demo on the rotation back to net where you were blind and had ball cam on? Calculated, 100%. You're an elite level player.
Yeah. Everything is planned. Unlike me, where I'm faking because I'm bad.
Exactly. Me, I'd say faking because I miss. I'm like, faking? Oh, look at that awesome fake when I'm like, yeah, I didn't have any boost, and I jumped and went up for that ball because I'm dumb. Well, good push by Nerve down the side, Swift. See, Swift remains calm in defense, and that's one thing that's always impressed me about Swift himself is just he's able to remain calm even in situations where he's last man back. Sonic's going for the demo there, but Nerve has got possession, taking this one across to the orange half.
Nice
Speaking of
save.
remaining calm, there we go. Follow-up save cut off from Sonic. Sonic's right there. He's already got the Savior medal as he passes that one out to KJ. KJ trying to meet up with Swift, but Dilly Bar is there quickly, and that one bounces back down to the middle. Shot incoming from Nerve. Takes the game. Game number 1 goes to Red Bulls.
Well, it wasn't quite 5 minutes, but we did get pretty lengthy overtime. Yeah, we had a 5-minute overtime in game 1 earlier tonight.
Oh, goodness gracious. That's wild. I think the long overtime games are so draining, and that's one thing that always happens whenever it comes down to any overtime situation is the amount of effort you put in, and then you put in that effort to become like this massive. I lost my train of thought completely. Someone DM me on Discord, but yeah, there you go. Pandas in here saying a warm-up game, and Cryptide saying they started the double there. Cryptide and Pandas both players on Big Throw Gaming, not on the field tonight. They're here in the chat joining in, rooting on their boys. As we, of course, got the Red Bulls in here. Of course, this is a BBC network, so I'd hope that majority of the players that are coming to watch are fans of the network themselves.
Well, if we got people from outside, that's fine too. All are welcome here.
That is true, and that's why everybody should show some love. Drop a follow because a lot of the great games casted here by Androchrist and streamed by Androchrist. You get to watch a lot of the oh my goodness, Dilly Bar right off the bat, putting an incredible shot, set up that self pass for himself. Sonic's tried to rotate back into position, but just could not read that shot, and Sonic's drops himself, but what a save and a thanks in there. Very close one coming out indeed.
So plenty of Rocket League dough here in game 2. Squiddy goes for the fake. Is that going to get in? No. Nice save by Swift.
There's that patience, man. He's such a. I think it's kind of rare to find that in a lot of. I wouldn't even say bubble players. I would say players just anywhere from 1500 MMR up. Everything's so fast paced, and it's really hard to. I believe whenever you get to this tier of gameplay, it's difficult to. To remain so calm and vigilant in those situations, and knowing that at any moment someone can put a shot on your net going upwards of 70 miles an hour, and you have to be ready to react. And KJ shoots, putting in an absolute monster of a goal from the ceiling.
What a bar down.
Oh man, look at that shot too. Fantastic. That's bar down shot. Unfortunate, failed to clear there from Nerve. He tried to get that off that back wall, but it bounced straight up and out.
So 1 minute in, we got a tie game. Again, off a beautiful shot there from Shoots. And apologies to any members from Big Top. I just have to call people by what their names are on screen.
Oh, that's totally fine. Yeah, the next is Mr. Sunix himself, and Shoots being KJ Shoots. And I don't know if they're going to rotate any players in tonight either. But Cryptide and Pandas are the two backups on the squad. Who's the backup on? Who's the backup player in reserve for the Red Bulls? Do you know?
So they have 2 reserves as well. One of them is Indecisive Squirrel, and the other one is Big Daddy Griff.
Big Daddy. I haven't seen him in so long.
Yeah, he's on the roster. And then, like, right as the season started, he got screwed by his work schedule.
Oh no, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, so like, we know he's around, but unfortunately now he's keeping weird hours because That's the way it goes sometimes.
That is true, and and that's the one thing to always remember with Rocket League in general is that even us casters, we're all real people. Every single one of us have things going on in our daily lives. That's kind of why I took such a long break from streaming. Dilly Bar, oh my goodness, such a close shot. Squiddy almost able to put it back in, but not good enough. Sonics has now got real estate in front of him. Swift with the shot saved by Nerve. But the one thing that is important is to remember everybody's people. Everybody has their own personal lives and things, and sometimes things come up, And it's unfortunate, but I do remember Big Daddy Griff being an absolute just playmaker last season. And I do hope his work schedule ends up allowing him to come back out in the field for at least one game this season. I did notice he had no stats recorded. I see that. That's highly unfortunate.
Yeah, we're hoping, I'm hoping, that it's not like permanent or anything because, again, Red Bulls have been doing really good, but, would like to see him out in the field. And also, this is why you carry, 5 people on the roster just in case for, situations like this. Oh, what's said by Squid?
Squiddy has always been. I actually met Squiddy whenever I played on Xbox. So this was at least a year ago, I believe, maybe 8 months ago. But I actually met Squiddy probably close to 2 years ago. He was a mutual friend of a friend of mine, and I remember him saying, "Hey man, you got to come play with this guy. He doesn't have a microphone, but he's absolutely insane." And we were all like Champ 2, Champ 3 at the time. And Squiddy was one of the only GC friends I had when I first met him. And I remember playing my first game with him, and I was like, that man is insane. Someone needs to stop him. And it's crazy to see him now on PC and to see him in Indie Gaming League and to be able to cast his games. I hope he knows that I always have been following his career, and he's such an incredible player, and it's such a pleasure to cast whenever he's on the field. No, Swift going for a crazy double off the sidewall there. Sonix goes up and fakes that touch completely, goes it back to KJ. KJ is going to try to put one on target. Hits it a little soft, too soft. Squiddy's going to put that out into the corner. Back out to Swift. Swift shot's going to be off target. He tries to double in off the sidebar, but Dilly, the absolute monster himself, just patient as can be, waits for that touch off the crossbar and shoots. Ends up saving his own shot there. It looks like there wasn't, I couldn't tell if there was a defender there or not in the net for the Red Bulls, but
it didn't actually look like there was.
Yeah, I think he kind of got a little bit of little nerves. He thought he had to maybe put another touch on to get a pass out, but that shot was actually going to be on target, I believe. Well, looks like we're headed into another overtime in game number 2.
Strap in, everyone.
Strap in. This is going to be a long series. I'm so excited for it. This is just thank you again for having me on here. I really do appreciate it so much.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
When I used to cast exclusively for Big Top Gaming, I really did enjoy casting all of our Tier 1 teams, or all of their Tier 1 teams, excuse me. Now I've moved on to Brewing Esports, owned and managed by Drunk Cookies from the Indie Gaming League admin. Pretty much one of the top dogs there, and him and Old Man Joe both started Brewing Esports, and it's where I hang now. It's where I hang my hat and wear my jersey. And speaking of jerseys, I got one coming in the mail. 2 of them. Oh my goodness, the bump from Squiddy was elite. Dilly Bar capitalizing with an exclamation point, dotting that one as Swift gets sent to the moon.
Heads up play there by Squiddy.
You can see why the Red Bulls are sitting at 5-0 right there, man. That was an incredible play from Squiddy. A good read. Seeing Swift come up on the back wall, ready to save that one, and just banished him to the Shadow Realm. Highly unfortunate for Big Throw Gaming, but very, very calculated play coming out from the Red Bulls as you can just see. So it looks like they may be subbing somebody out real quick as Sonix will be dropping the MVP of Indie Gaming League, the self-described MVP of Indie Gaming League, of course. So it looks like they're going to be bringing in either Pandas or Cryptide. If I'm going to take a guess, I'm going to say it's going to be... I'm going to say Pandas. Cryptide, of course. Cryptide is definitely going to be the higher MMR player. Cryptide is consistently, he's GC in all playlists except for solo standard because that whole playlist needs to just be demolished anyway. And it's actually Cryptide who's going to be joining us. So Cryptide is a very, very elite level player, a bubble player, if you will. The comeback is about to be real. What's going on, Tokyo Ghost? Thanks for coming in here and hanging out. Definitely drop a follow for the Best Bloods Club Network here as we are casting their team Red Bulls versus Big Throw Gaming. And it's game number 3. Red Bulls are up 2-0. The reverse sweep from Big Throw Gaming has to come out now.
Well, the good news is for Big Throw, they know exactly what they need to do here. So
shut down Dilly Bar and Squiddy and Nerve. They need to shut down all 3 players. I think that's exactly what they need to. I think that's the only logical thing that comes to mind, even to know how illogical that is. But that's what they have to do. All 3 players on the Red Bulls are just incredible players. They know how to handle not only just possession, but offense, defense, infield passing, rotations are all clean as can be. It's just the tiny little mistakes that the Big Throw Gaming offense will need to watch out for in order to score and eliminate any of the double committing that we've seen on the defensive side of the ball. Speaking of one right there, Squiddy trying to bump Cryptide off the ball. Cryptide's recovery is very good and is able to rotate back into position as Shoots takes us down the line.
So yeah, on the mistakes, it's it's still very telling that despite the mistakes, Big Throw has only lost in overtime.
That is true. They in both games going to first game was a 2-minute overtime. The second one was a little bit shorter than that, but that is true. Both they've been able to hold on and hold tight, and they each game so far they've actually been down by 1. This exact same thing's happened. They get down by 1 goal. They get the equalizer early, and then it stays scoreless for the 3 minutes until overtime, and then somebody slots one away. But it looks like Dilly Bar is going to break that habit right there and put the second goal away.
What happened? Oh, Cryptide missed it, perhaps?
Looks like it. Flicked that one out. Didn't expect Dilly Bar to be there right in the mid-line, slapping that one in for the second goal of Red Bulls Game 3. And only 47 seconds played, out to 50 now, and Dilly Bar putting another one close to being on target. Cryptide is there for the save as Squiddy comes in to try to capitalize on that note.
Not gonna lie, there, Dilly should have put that away.
He definitely should have.
I'm gonna be
level, yes.
I'm gonna be overly critical on him because he's my club leader, and yeah, he should put that away. Giving life to Big Top. Big Throw, I mean, from Big Top Gaming.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know Big Throw Gaming and Big Top Gaming. Whenever I used to cast them, I would just say, literally, it was just BTG. That's all I was like, BTG. And ever since I've split from Big Top Gaming, I still absolutely love all the players who play in it. Whether they're, I think they only have Tier 1 teams left, maybe one Tier 2 team in Indie Gaming League. But I know that the Best Buds Club Network, you guys have teams in multiple tiers, isn't that right?
Yeah, we have a couple in Tier 1, a lot in Tier 2. In fact, we have almost our own division.
Oh my goodness.
And then we have one in Tier 4. A couple of ones players. And then our Tier 4 captain's heading up a Tier 2's team as well. He's trying to go for the unprecedented triple and put himself in a good position.
Wow, that's impressive. That takes a lot of time and dedication and scheduling orientation, which is probably the more difficult part for me in Indie Gaming League was scheduling matches as a captain.
Yeah,
it's so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's sometimes not my favorite part, but you do what you have to do.
Exactly, you got to bite the bullet sometimes, and Cryptide didn't get the best touch on that one. Shoots gets bumped off the ball. Cryptide is last man back. We can tell he's boostless. He does get a pinch off of the back wall. Cryptide, I was stating earlier, Cryptide's a very high MMR player in 3s, 2s, and 1s, but he is a new addition to the Big Throw Gaming roster, so I wonder if things have clicked yet. I know that these 3 players have played their fair share amount of ranked games together, and of course the numerous amounts of 6-mans and everything in between, but Cryptide unable to get there on that shot. Nerve putting one in for what could be the icing on the coffin, the nail in the cake. But 1 minute and 55 seconds left to tell the story. I love those sayings. The icing on the coffin, the nail in the cake. I heard some caster use that one time, and I was like, that is my new thing. I'm going to use that until it's dead.
Oh, Squiddy almost got the dunk there. But
crazy
that net's
play.
open.
Oh, what a good play from look at that's the one thing I think that a lot of people don't pay attention to is the recovery mechanics of some of these players, and that's what separates these guys from tier 1 to tier 2. Is not only, yes, are they more calculated on their touches, or are they have a higher accuracy, the whole nine. Cryptide putting one away from Big Throw Gaming there a little bit late, maybe too late. We're gonna have to find out soon, but the recovery mechanics out of these players is insane. You can see Squiddy down the line, able to rotate all the way back and get a save, and then in that same position, rotate all the way back and even contend for the save. I think that was so impressive to see, and that's what really separates these teams. That's what really separates tier 1 from tier 2.
I could definitely drink to that. As someone who's stuck in tier 2.
I'm not sure what tier I would be. My ranks definitely were not the prettiest over the past while of Rocket League. Dropped all the way down to Champ 1 before I took this 2-week hiatus. Swift has it open in front of him. Dillybar can't get this saved, and Swift puts Big Throw Gaming back within 1. Will they be able to tie it up and bring it to overtime, or take it in regulation, or will the Red Bulls put one away to solidify the Game 3 3-0 sweep?
So we're kind of talking at the beginning of this game, mistakes. And it kind of seems just, it's the Red Bulls' turn to make those little mistakes. We kind of caught in rotation there on that second one. It feels like.
I agree with you. I think that was it was a simple rotational mistake, cutting off players, and I think that's where communication becomes such a big factor in tier 1, even. Let's just drop all the way back down to tier 4 and below. Diamond, when you're in Diamond and you're trying to get that jump over in just a champ, communication is such a huge aspect of gameplay. Swiddy with a great goal line save on Swift's shot. 7 seconds left to go. Dillybar is in the backfield, shoots, keeping it alive. Out to Swift. Swift off the back wall. Will this one die? Squiddy keeps it alive with a pitch from KJ. Cryptide able to keep it up only for a moment. The Red Bulls will take the win in a 3-0 sweep, old-fashioned style, over the top of Big Throw Gaming.
Wow. They managed to get a sweep. I'm impressed.
What an incredible play from Red Bulls. I mean, each game being a 1-game differential. That was an incredible job from Red Bulls to shut all play down. Now, Big Throw Gaming. So, the Red Bulls, they've gone to a completely undefeated season. Is that correct now?
Yeah, that's, well, I mean, if you ever want to do the 10-0, now's the time to do it, right? 6-0 heading into playoffs.
Sure.
And and I'd like to say a lot of people are like, oh, well, what about the undefeated curse? It's like, to speak on behalf of the Red Bulls, it's like, guys, you're playing with like house money. This is your first season up. Just go get them. Go get them.
Literally just get out there and start playing. And I think that's what, I haven't casted any of the Red Bulls games, of course, but I want to see more of how they play, because they seem to just be on another level. I mean, when it comes, they seem to be on another level that you don't see. And last season, you guys may remember the Red Bulls were in Tier 2, and this is their first season up in Tier 1. And to come out and go 6-0 in your debut season against players who have been in not only Indie Gaming League for a long time, but have been in Tier 1 for a long time. Big Throw Gaming, this is their third season in Tier 1 gameplay, and they have taken down 3 of the strongest Rocket League players I personally know. 4, actually, considerably 4. We didn't get to see Pandas down on the field there, but I'm not even sure. Pandas, of course, being an incredible Rocket League player himself, even the rotation of Pandas in there, I'm not sure if that would have made enough of a difference to keep the Red Bulls from that 3-0 sweep. I think that they wanted it. They fought for it. They did a great job achieving that goal, and a great win, and well-deserved for their 6-0 record.
Yeah. You said, as I like to say, Coyote, you said everything I would probably want to say, and you just said a lot better. But I mean, like, to to be fair, also to Big Throw, I mean, they were all 1-goal games.
Look at that.
We
is
got
wild.
A pair of 2-1 overtime victories for the Red Bulls, and then a 3-2 victory there in Game 3. So when I look at this from as from the other side, I'm like, man, it's like it was there. You played them close. It's just it's just sometimes it's the little things, and that's the the one little mistake, and that's the difference in the game. So hopefully they can go back to the drawing board and just get that win next week, because I believe that drops them to 3-2. So that they can go get that dub next week, because as always, I'm all for regular season rematches in the playoffs. I always put the caveat as I hope it's in the finals.
Exactly.
But for, in my opinion, for whatever that's worth, I did love what I saw out there from Big Throw. And I would love to see them make a run in the playoffs, because I'm not saying this to blow smoke up anyone, but I feel like they can do some serious damage in the playoffs.
They sure can, and they've done some serious damage to a couple teams, in the regular season. And I think that one thing that always happens in a lot of different levels of play, whenever you get into a game and you go into an overtime, especially game number one, and I'm infamous on my stream for being the one person who always tells everybody, game number one doesn't mean that much. It really is and this is usually for tier 2 and below. Game number one is about going in and finding your team, finding your groove, finding weaknesses in the other team's offense and defense, capitalize on those later. You may lose game number one, but it doesn't mean you can't come back in games number 2, 3, and 4 and get a 3-1 win, or even bring it to game 5 and get a 3-2. But as far as tier 1 goes, you have to be firing on all cylinders from the get-go, because game number one, it takes about 30 seconds for players in that echelon of play to be able to, yes, I know and see exactly where weaknesses are going to be. And especially this matchup, the Red Bulls and Big Throw Gaming, they faced off before. They knew what they were coming in against. Now, with Nerve on this opposing team, they even had a little bit of an advantage of knowing we know how Nerve plays. We may be able to handle him, but it's a matter of handling Dilly Bar and Squiddy, who actually were the most lethal on the scoreboard tonight from all 3 games. But that first overtime loss, I'm sure, took a massive toll on confidence. And it was just like, okay, even though it's a quick, okay, it's fine, let's wrap it up, get into game number 2. Then you get another overtime, and you lose that one as well. It really takes a toll on you, mentally. And to see them at least hang on tight and all games go in 1-goal direction. I believe I would love to see Big Throw Gaming and Red Bulls up in the playoffs, but it's of course now up to Big Throw winning their next week's game.
Yeah, and again, well put.
Well put, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, because again, I kind of saw it a little earlier. For those watching the stream, you can kind of see here's the list. We had the Scarred Scorpions in tier 4. They got a sweep. They got all 3-2 games. They had a long overtime. 2 games worth. And I'm sure that's as you say, that's mentally draining. And they kept beating their opponents, 3-2, 3-2, and look up here. Here's the Red Bulls. They're beating their opponents 2-1. So, that overtime, that is always kind of draining. But as the cliche goes, you have to go into those reserves, go down deep, and just you got power through it, and they had the chance, and it could just be a case of Red Bulls just might have wanted it just slightly more. It's but again, this is this is also the pitfalls of just short league season. You play a team once, So who knows? Who knows? Maybe the next time they meet on the field, it's a sweep for Big Throw. So, but this is, as I like to say, this is why we play the games, and this is
Rocket League.
this is Rocket League, and this is what happened tonight. Again, good series. We're hopefully expecting a lot from the Red Bulls. Keep the grind going. Again, I like what I saw a Big Throw. Hoping to see them, make the run in the playoffs. Hope to see them in the finals. But it's both teams just gotta put the work in.
I agree.
I think Red Bulls have been doing that so well all season to capitalize on all 6 matches, get a 6-0 start in their first season, debuting in Tier 1. I have no doubt they're going to be able to go into the playoffs and crush. I'm looking at their division right now, and that actually will put the Red Bulls at number 1 in their division as well. So not only did they come in here and just annihilate their very first season, but they're annihilating their division. They're going to be a first seed going up against a 16th seed in the opening of the playoffs.
But
fantastic.
Yeah, but I should say is they should not forget the lessons learned from last season. when they were the 16. I give this squad specifically so much flack, but to see them come out here, put the work in, just put the grind in, go 6-0 in their first season up here in the 1600 plus MMR. Basically, the open divisions, the open tiers of IGL. That is definitely something they can hang their hat on. But again, if I know the squad and if I know Dilly, that's just the first step. And what they're really chasing is that gold plaque with the number 1 on it at the end of the season.
Yes, sir, and that's one thing to always remember as well. And this is the last thing I'll leave you with: Big Top Gaming. I believe I personally have been on 3 Big Top Gaming teams, maybe even 4 Big Top Gaming teams that have made it all the way into the championship game. Or no, 3 teams. I was in the championship game for each one, Tier 2 and Tier 3, and each championship game we lost. And my very first season was spring 2019, and we got 3rd place, and I barely played that season because I was playing with people who were much better than me. I was a bench player. The other 3, I was a starting roster player, and it's very heartbreaking to make it that far and lose, but I don't believe Big Top Gaming any Big Top Gaming team has actually won and came home with a trophy. So I know that they have the desire, the want, and the need, and they have the fight in them, and they got to remember that. The fact that you have been and you've had teams get so close, but no cigar, no smoking. And they need to come in strong next week with that attitude, with that same mindset, and play their, for lack of a better word, play their ass off. They're going to have to. Otherwise, it's going to be a very intense taking a look at players in the roster, maybe figuring out something different. I do believe all the players on there play very well, and they play very well together. But if that happens, you may have to reevaluate something if you're the captain of that team.
Yeah, I mean, having been on the receiving end of just like, as a captain, making, sometimes questionable, lineups and everything, like, that's kind of like the worst feeling as a captain is just like, you look at the roster and like, man, we came so close. Did I screw it up? And, I fully admit there are times it's just like, yeah, I kind of screwed this up. But, there's other times I've just said that, no, I put my best roster out there, and you know what? Sometimes my best roster, well, they just, they went out there and, they gave it their all and everything. And, hey, sometimes you just get beat. Sometimes you get beat. You get beat in a brutal fashion too.
Yeah. I mean, you watch. If you're speaking of brutal fashion, I mean, watch professional Rocket League right now. They just did the first grid matchups. I believe that was last night, and G2 was apparently crushing it. I wasn't watching. I was casting my own on my own channel, but I did not have. I went back and did a little bit of research on the games this morning, and it's crazy to see teams still like Kronovi. I mean, such an OG Rocket League player, and the dude has hung tight to professional Rocket League since the very first season of professional Rocket League, and he's the only professional Rocket League player to have done so consistently 10 seasons in a row. And we've all watched that man have bad days. And he is an elite level Rocket League player. And he has bad days. His team has bad days. And I think that's important to remember, is that everybody has bad days, but some days, the good days, are very, very good. And some days the bad days are very, very bad. And I think that's what I'm going to leave you with right there, guys. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much for keeping me on here and having me talk everybody's ears off. Andrew Christ, I appreciate you so much for the invitation to cast this game.
You're quite welcome. Before you go, hashtag plug yourself. Just let everyone know where you're at.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is acoyote919. You can find me on twitch.tv/acoyote919. If you don't know how to spell coyote, you probably shouldn't follow, because a lot of the words I use on my stream are big and bad. And it's an 18 and older stream most of the time, because my language is kind of harsh sometimes. But I am an Atlanta, Georgia native. I'm pretty much the opposite of what you would imagine somebody from Atlanta, Georgia to be like, but I love casting Rocket League. I've casted Rocket League for friends for a very, very long time, and started casting for Indie Gaming League and various other amateur esport organizations, and got into a Tier C and Tier B casting organizations as well, which I cast for occasionally, and those, of course, are going to be like semi-professional teams, and in the bubble, they're in the bubble who I cast. Definitely come check out my channel. I'm live usually on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Friday nights as for now, as I'm just now getting back from a break that I took to regain my mental health. I was dealing with a lot of issues that I needed to take care of. I took care of them all. Or I'm in the process taking care of them all, and I'd love to see you guys out there. Just come give me a follow at twitch.tv acoyote919, and not even if you don't want to drop a follow, that's totally fine. Come on by whenever I'm live and check out some casting. We love doing it, and I love having people in there who enjoy Rocket League as much as I do. Thank you so much for having me, guys. It's been a pleasure to be on the Best Buds Club Network, casting with you, Andrew Christ. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and congratulations to the Red Bulls on their 3-0 sweep.
Well, as again, thank you for coming on, Coyote. And everyone out there, whether you're watching live or on the VOD, thank you for watching, and have a good night. We'll see you all next time.